Hi there, it's Miss Smith, and this is review 1 for the trig graph test that's coming up next week. Question number 1, which of the following represents the range? So to find the range, you want to take that midline, which is 10, and then you want to add or subtract the amplitude, which in this case would be 6. So when we subtract 6, we get 4. When we add 6, we get 16. When we get a pencil that writes, so we can write that down. So we want to go 4 to 16, and that would be choice 4. On the graph for number 2, it wants the amplitude. So to find the amplitude, we want to find the distance between those. So we want to, if you add them and divide by 2, you get the midline. If you subtract them and divide by 2, you'd be getting the amplitude. So I'm going to subtract that, but it's a negative, so that makes it a positive, and then that would be 28 over 2, which would be 14. That's choice 1. If you were doing where you find the midline first, you could do 17. I think I said that backwards. Yeah, no, we add them, so it's minus 11 over 2, and that would be 3. So our midline would be here at 3, and then you could do 17 minus 3, and that would also get you that answer, 14. So either way, we'll get you that correct answer. On 3, it gives us the equation here. So the horizontal distance between any two consecutive relative maximums. So what that, and a cosine curve, that's from here to here. So those maximums are happening in what is one cycle. And to find how long it's going to take for one cycle, we want to do 2 pi over b. So we would take our b value in this case is 8. This pencil is terrible, sorry. All right, so we want to do 2 pi. We're going to divide that by 8. So 2/8 is really 1/4. So that would be pi over 4. And that looks like choice 4. Oh, I didn't circle these. Sorry. On 4, it says which of the following. All right, so on these kind of questions, they want you to take this. We got to find what A, B. Well, we don't really need A, but we want B and K. We're going to add them together. So I'm just going to find all of them. So if I were to take my maximum, so that's, oh gosh, it's Friday. So it's 11 and 3. So if we do 11 minus 3 and we divide by 2, that's 8 over 2, that's 4. If I do 11 plus 3 and I divide by 2, I get 7. This right here is my midline, which is my K value. So K is 7. And then the 4, so if this is at 7, the 4 is my amplitude. And again, we don't really need that right now. So this is a cosine curve, so it would mean that our A value is 4. And then I need to find what that frequency is. So if we start up here at the maximum, and how long is it taking to get back up to 11? So that right there would be pi over 3. So we want to take pi over 3, set that equal to 2 pi over b, so we can find out what that is. And then if I cross multiply, I would get b times pi equals 6 pi. The pi's can divide out, so our b value is 6. Oh my goodness. B is 6. And they want us to add those, so we would add 6 plus 7 is 13, and that's choice 2. On question number 5, which of the following would not intersect? So I'm going to take my equation and I'm going to find what the range is. That's going to be 14 plus or minus 5, which means we're going from 9 to 19. And they want to know which one of those would it not intersect X equals 0 is the y-axis, so it will intersect that. Sneaky. X equaling pi, also sneaky, because we could put pi into that. And those would be vertical lines. And then here, so it's going from 9 to 19, so it'll get to 9, but it's not going to make it to 20. So that's choice 3. Sneaky, sneaky. All right, if I'm on a Ferris wheel and it makes one trip around in 10 minutes. So if it takes the value of B, so if you were to take that trip around, so it would be, look like that on the Ferris wheel. And then we're looking at the sine part of that. So if you were to unwrap that sine curve, it would look like this. 10 minutes would go right here. And they want you to find B. So B is, if I tell you that, so this is the period, so I'm telling you that 10 equals 2 pi over B. So then I get 10B equals 2 pi. We divide by 10. 2/10 is 1/5, so that would be pi over 5. On 7, the volume at t equals 0, it is at 650, and at 5, it's at its minimum. So if we were to look at t is 0 and the max is at 650. So if you are starting at the maximum, that tells you its cosine curve. So we're going to get rid of these. And then it tells you that at 5, it's at its minimum at 120. And this is at 5, which means to get all the way back up would take, so if it's taking 5, whatever units to get here, it's going to be 10 to get back up. So then to find out, so that means we're going to do 10 equals 2 pi over b, which looks a lot like the one we already did up here, except they left it as 2 over 10. They didn't reduce it. So b here is 2 pi over 10. So I'm going to feel pretty confident it's number 1, but let's just check those other coefficients and make sure that they work out okay. If I were to take and do 650 plus 120 and divide that by 2, I get 385, which is good because that's my midline. Check. And then if I were to subtract 650 minus the 385, 265 amplitude. Check, check. All right. I'm going to pause here and then I will do another video for the short answer in case I make any mistakes. So far, 1 through 7 is good. Ha ha ha.